Ideas flow, but never lie.
Today's topics: stop people pleasing, the 5 cents goal setting, the power of community, nervous system regulation, and the mirror exercise for self-worth.
Rambling on, no straight lines. Welcome to my busy mind.
Hello and welcome to episode 42 of Ramblings of a Busy Mind. You see, we have a new backdrop. This is my actual office. We decided we're not gonna cover anything. It might be messy at sometimes, or it might be hide behind the camera. I have a dear guest with me tonight, and today. I'm all over the place. It's Janet Hum, who is a dearly beloved friend, which I have never met in person yet, but that's gonna come. We met through connections, our network, and Janet is a genuine carer for others. She does financial advice. Your full title, you can tell that. I know it's wealth management. No, what is it? You had a certain voicing. I would have to look it up. But what I love about her is she has down to earth tips how you can save money and how you can manage your finances better. So Janet, you might want to introduce you better than I did.
I love it. Thank you, Natasha. It's amazing and so blessed and grateful to be here today with you and your audience, Natasha. Yes, we haven't met in person, but I feel like we've known each other for a long time just because of our connection. So I am based in Toronto, Canada. And you know how a lot of business owners, individuals keep running their business, but they struggle to prioritize their finance? That's where I come in. I want to guide them in building that multi income streams, but also protecting the financial legacy. I'm a CPA turned financial strategist. I help ambitious professionals, especially women, take control of their financial future through smart, strategic, and tax efficient wealth building. You know, it's not about growing our money, it's about protecting it, maximize it, and building a life of freedom and security. And I know in the next little bit, while I'm here with Natasha, I'll be sharing a little bit more about my journey of how I became a CPA turned financial strategist.
I know you have your focus group, which you just named, but what I found is your tips on LinkedIn and social media are not just for the business person, they're for everybody. And that's the cool thing. Like you have a way to show you where the little things are in your life, where you can do little things that have a big impact, but we don't realize it. I know you're a mom of two, and you have your own business. So overwhelm and burnout you're knowledgeable about that. Is your own experience.
Mhm.
But how did you cope?
Yeah, great question. I'm going to take a step back. Even before the kids were born, I guess my profession as a CPA, I don't know if you've heard, it's a month end, the quarter end, the year end, the never end.
No, I
So
have
it
not.
never ends. So burnout was definitely a real thing. It was always busy. There was always deadlines, and it was stressful even before the kids. So when the kids came along and COVID, it just compounded. It just snowballed. It didn't matter. There was no, especially with the technology, everybody's accessible now, right? Work from home was even worse
Mhm.
because people think that we're accessible 24/7, but we're not, and we shouldn't be, right? And with young kids, I thought I could manage and put a boundary around myself, a healthy one, obviously, but that wasn't the case. I just felt like when someone messaged me, again, that was on me as well, right? When someone messaged me, I have to respond right away. I wasn't really creating that safe space myself. Part of that was my identity, but also part of that was the fear that if I don't respond right away, I give someone else a chance to say, hey, Janet's not doing her work.
Mhm.
Maybe the next one out would be her. That was sort of the fear I had on the back of my mind. I guess primarily because I've been let go multiple times as well. So that fear was real, was really real. And not only that, and this is a story I don't tell a lot of people, but I was let go while I was clearly pregnant. And that really took a hit on me, not just, financially and or um what's the word, intellectually, but also more so emotionally,
Mhm.
right? So all of that combined, I was just like, wow, that was a lot to sort of unpack and deal with on my own. And the long story short of it is going through all of that, I came to a realization that even though I'm a CPA with my background, I really didn't know how to manage my finances.
It's like the veterinarian's pets are never vaccinated or taken care of in a manner that's fast or whatever. Like, yeah, I hear you. We tend to neglect ourselves and help everybody else.
Yeah. Yeah. And so with that, I was like, maybe it's time I take a look at myself, my finances. Where am I? How am I doing? I have a financial advisor, and at the time, I know, but I didn't know, if that makes sense. I know that I have blind spots. I know I don't know everything. And that's when I said, you know what? I think it's time for me to step up, um, get out and just learn
Mhm,
because no one's going to care more about it than I do.
mhm.
And so, as a mom, as an accountant, as a professional, I know what it means to set my finances as a priority in life.
Yeah, the blind spots are huge usually because we are so focused on, not that the other things are not important, but they overtake, and you prioritize maybe in a different way than you should, or then it might be more beneficial for you, and then all of a sudden you create that hole on the other side that's dragging you down and making you worry more, right?
Exactly. Exactly. It becomes a rabbit hole,
What I
right?
love about you is you see people. And I've experienced that firsthand, and I've posted about that because you were one of the few people in the networking, without me saying much, reached out and said, talk to me. What's going on? And I value that so much because that's another thing that people don't realize is we need to be seen, all of us. In stress and overwhelm, if there's somebody who reaches out and says, talk to me, can I help? Is there anything you want? And sometimes it's just that reach out that changes everything for you. But having someone on your side who's willing to listen for once, and it doesn't mean that you have to give advice or anything, just the willingness to listen is such a huge healing factor for somebody in stress and overwhelm. Because again, we are in that tunnel vision of we have to get this done and we have to get here. Um, And that's why I started working with questions with my clients instead of giving them pointers. I just ask questions when they're ready to talk.
Mhm.
Because I find with questions, your brain has the ability to find its own way. Your questions, if somebody's questioning you or asks you questions, it will give your brain the ability to jump out of that loop, to jump out of that circle of thoughts that's never ending, never ending, never ending, going circle, circle, circle. And all of a sudden there's this question coming in, and it's like a diversion, it's like a detour, and your brain can go that way and start thinking about something else. And that might calm down the spin on the other side. Right. And as I said, I value you that much for being that person who actually stood up and said, talk to me, because at that moment that was the worst. Like I was I was spinning. Yeah. And that
Mm.
was beginning first half of the year of the last year. We have 2026. Can't believe it, it's another year.
Yeah, yeah.
And that from a person that I met only online in a group meeting. And we had talked before, we had chatted a little bit in our breakout rooms, but we had not had that much connection that I would expect from a friend to do that. And you stepped up. So kudos to you. Thank you.
Natasha, it goes both ways, like any relationship. I appreciate your trust in sharing what you shared because you didn't have to. Everyone's busy, but we all make priorities to people that are important to us, to things that are important to us. And when we're in a rabbit hole, you're absolutely right. We get into that hole deeper and deeper. We need someone else that we can hold on to pull us out from that hole. Right. And that's sort of the definition of insanity when we do the same thing over and over, but expect a different result, right? We're all guilty of that in some things in our lives,
Yeah.
right? But number one is the awareness that we're in this rabbit hole, that something is still, it's not changing. And we need to come to the realization that we need to do something first,
Mhm.
right? Number one. Number two, then it's reaching out and talking so vulnerably and authentically to see, hey, who else can help me? And sometimes I don't know who can help me, but just putting it out there in the universe, someone will put their hand up and be like, hey,
Mhm.
Janet, Natasha, let's just have a chat. Maybe there's something, maybe there's nothing. I don't know. There's no guarantee.
I found that very interesting in the network that Summer created in Connections of Fab Collabs. The way she set it up is with compassion.
Yes,
It's not your typical sales group. It's not your typical, you go in, you pitch. Yes, we learn how to pitch. Yes, we learn to be succinct in our language. But at the same time, there is so much sharing and heart in it that I've never seen in other networks.
I
And
agree.
that's one thing that I learned the last year is when you have a supportive community that's not about selling and pitching and competing in whatever, but it's from the heart and it's supportive, it brings you so much further because it brings all of us further. So the resonance is bringing all of us, amplifying all of us at the same time.
Yeah, I agree with you, Natasha. I'm very, very grateful for Summer's networking group, right? Like yourself, like many of us listening, watching, we are in multiple networking communities.
Mhm.
They're all unique in their own way, right? But I must say there I haven't seen any like Summer's connection where really genuine relationships are built. The people that stick are the people that care. And
Mhm.
it's okay if people come and go. It's
Mhm.
just not the right one for them, and that's okay.
You
That's
know, it's
okay.
at the right time, or
Yeah,
sometimes you evolve during that group and then evolve into something different, which is fine too. But it gives you a platform if it's just for a second
right.
in relation to your time
Yeah,
to breathe, right?
yeah. And just be ourselves. We
Yes.
don't have to be, someone else or feel like we are here to sell or to push. Like that's not me to begin with. So,
Not me either. My former boss said once, you are too honest for sales. But I'd rather be honest in my sales than selling you something you don't need,
agree.
right? And that
Agree.
starts with the sound and with the frequency. Like I work with resonance, right? I work with frequency. The singing bowls, for instance, people come and say, what note do you need? And I know exactly, I can tell you a note and you will go and buy it, but
Mhm.
it might not be the one you need. While if you play all of them that are there and you have one that you can't keep your fingers off, then you found the one you need. And that's resonance. It doesn't need a title, it doesn't need a value. It just needs you resonating with it. And the smile on your face will tell everything.
That's right. That's right. And sometimes words just can't explain those things. You have to feel it. You have to be there. The environment, the people, you just have to be there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same thing with financial advisors. If you don't resonate with them, you won't follow their help or won't listen, right? Yeah, no, it's interesting the factor, like we were talking about it before, like competition, like people doing the same thing or people taking over your stuff and putting it out there. I don't think there's competition. I just think there's more offers. There's more opportunity for everybody to find what they need. And does that mean I have to fear yes, I can go in competition. I can create again a frequency of anger, of fear, of angst, of anxiety and pressure. Or I can embrace somebody new in offering other opportunities and putting them out there and finding ways for other people that might not resonate with me. So energetic wise, if I approach it from a standpoint of I embrace it, it will not pull me down. If I stand against it, I stand against somebody or stand in competition with somebody else, then it will pull me down and will bring me in a frequency that brings me not forward, but rather lets me stagnate, right?
Yeah, I can't agree more. And we talked about this before we turned on the mic. There is no competition. For me, if anything, I'm competing with myself. That's it. Nobody else,
Yeah.
right? Nobody else. And to exactly what you said, it's, even if we do the same thing, it's okay. There's enough for all of us. There's enough. I still want my rest. I still want my time with family, right? I still have to be careful not to burn myself out, right? So there's enough for all of us. We don't need to compete. Your energy is very different than mine, but we
Absolutely.
connect, and that's okay.
Yeah.
That's great.
The same thing is too when you say, I want my rest, I want my peace. Um, when I don't step up and show myself to the people,
Mm,
it doesn't matter if I have competition or not. Because if I'm not visible, if I'm not out there and make myself available to others, sure there will be others taking in the people that I could reach, but I don't even reach them.
yeah, it's true. The world's so big. I can't reach everybody,
Yeah,
right?
that's the thing.
And so, to your point, I just want to share what I know. I just want to share the information that let us think about. No one likes to be told what to do, right? But if we, like you said earlier, with your client, ask questions so they can make their own decisions. But a lot of us don't have the information to make those decisions. And how can we?
Mhm.
And so I was one of them where I just didn't know what decisions to make with regards to my own finance. Then I ended up freezing
Mhm.
and doing nothing, right? But if someone was to feed me the information, because at the end of the day, I don't know what I'm looking for. I don't know what I don't know. I can't look for it. Right? So for me, it's just educating someone, sharing so vulnerably and so openly about finances, because finance is something that a lot of people don't talk about,
Mhm.
especially among friends or even family, right? So, that's where I come in. I just want to share the information. You have questions? Ask. It's okay. I don't charge.
I know you were thinking when we talked last, you were thinking about having an open office or sort of office hour where people could come in and ask questions. Did you
Yeah.
go forward with that?
Yeah. I mean, because everybody's questions are going to be different, they're going to be unique.
Mhm.
And I revisited and thought about that again. It wouldn't make sense to have a group session because it's confidential.
Mhm.
People are not going to get much out of it in a group session.
Mhm.
So I have my link, happy to, book a 15-minute. And if we need a little bit more, that's fine,
Mhm.
right? Just know that a lot of times people are like, oh, how much do you charge for 15 minutes, whatever that may be. I say, you know what? Just book a time. It's complimentary. You don't have to worry about it. I do know people that will charge an upfront fee or fee for service or retainer. I don't have any of that. Full transparency,
Yeah.
right? And so my link is there and just reach out, have a conversation.
And I think that's such a valuable gift for others to have the ability to have a first talk and start in somewhere. Um, it's not like you with your financial issues, everybody has different financial issues. While my work in the burnout and even in the PTSD work, the symptoms are the same for a lot of them.
Yes.
So as long as we don't go too much in detail, or it depends on if the person wants to go into detail, a group session is fine because a lot of the symptoms are the same and then we can deal with the symptoms. Deeper things, yes, I totally agree that everybody has to have their own session and out of confidentiality. I personally don't hold back with my stuff because I don't have the need.
Mm.
As I told you with my nice little story with posting something about positivity on the day that my cat passed, and then questioning myself if I was authentic. The fun part in that is I question myself a lot, and I review a lot about the things that I say and put out there in order to be better, and in order to own my mistakes, and in order to become the person that I want to be,
Mhm.
right? But I understand that people need privacy. I absolutely understand that. And I think it's a good thing that you offer the 15 minutes for people in person. Driving the taxi, I've seen how to say that. I've learned how privileged I grew up. Let's
Mm.
say it this way. I never saw it that way up until I started driving the taxi. I
Mm.
heard stories from my friends and so on. But within the last 2 years, so it started early on with friends, but especially the last 4 months driving the taxi, I grew up upper class for the conditions here.
Mm.
We were not considered upper class in Germany. We were considered middle class. But still, I grew up privileged. And I have to say kudos to my mom to provide so much for us, because she was the one who basically made everything possible for us. Yeah. And I don't want to know how burned out she was. Being divorced with 2 kids, starting a new job as a sales rep, driving 350 kilometers a day, talking to doctors. She was a pharmaceutical rep. And nobody ever questioned it. And then she came home to a house that we made a mess in. And my mom was not a person who could sit down or is not a person to this day. She cannot let stuff stand. It has to be cleaned up right away. Um, it's interesting because I'm so much like my grandmother. My grandmother was a messy person or chaotic person, and I can be that too. Like I don't get bothered if the dishes are not done today. And if I'm really stressed out, then I might not do them for a week. I rinse them, but I don't do them completely. Uh, but my mom is like, oh, there's dishes, take them and put them away. Because she's been conditioned by her grandmother, by my grandmother. Growing up with her, she hated the chaos, right? And now here's me, the next generation, being the same. Like, it's so funny to think about it. But yeah, and things like that. Like, I reflect a lot about my life, and it might be because I'm in my 50s or whatever. I don't know. But I find when I look at what I do daily and how I do my life, how I live my life, and what I do, and I can overcome those times where I'm really challenged. I can overcome them faster.
Mm.
I can
Yes.
pull myself, but I can also prioritize and say, I have to do something else first now in order to be better in the long run,
Mm.
then would be better for me. So, as I said, the working with the cap, the night shifts, doing multiple night shifts, I know it's not gonna be for the long run,
Mhm.
but I know I can go for a limited time, and I'm very careful of how I do that now, and all of those things have been a learning curve, right? And that's what I find most people are not aware of. Where are my limits? That's one thing. B, how much can I extend those limits for a certain time? And the worst one is, where are my choices?
Yeah.
That's I find that so sad that people don't see that they have opportunities, that they have choices, that they have possibilities right in front of them.
Yes.
And all they see is the challenge. All they see the problem, which we don't have because it's all challenges and we make it into a problem.
Yeah.
And that's why I love your posts so much, because they're so tiny things where you go like, oh, did you think about? Nope. Nope, I didn't think about that.
And that's okay. And part of it, number one, like you were sharing, right? It's the awareness. And then number two, what options do we have? And then
Right.
number three, it's a decision. You shared that. It's a decision, right? A coin has both sides. We can choose to just sit on there and kind of have a pity party ourselves, or we can choose to lean on someone else to get some advice or just get some, brainstorm together and see what options we have. Then we decide, right? But we have to pick ourselves out from that rabbit hole or put our hand out and be like, hey, can someone help me? Right? And a
Pull me
lot of
out of here.
pull me out, exactly. But what I'm finding is that, Natasha, a lot of us are just maybe shameful, maybe fearful, and don't want to admit, hey, I need help. But we all need help.
That's one. And the other thing is there is no shameful, like there is no shame in needing help. There is no shame in admitting I'm stuck, right?
Yes,
And the again, if you don't voice that you need help, people cannot help you because they
that's
might
right.
not see it, right? If you cover that up so nicely that nobody realizes you're struggling and you're drowning, how will they send you how will they give you a rope to pull you out or whatever?
And to that point, Natasha, that's when people get into burnout,
Mhm.
right? And it's that downward spiral of can't get ourselves out. And so, yes, we all need help one way or another. I can use some help to clean the place, clean my house, right? I did quite a bit of that yesterday, and that's okay. It makes me feel good.
That's when I invite guests over, then I clean my house. That's one.
It's
That's
true.
one of my go-tos. I invite friends for or my parents. That's a good one too. I invite friends for dinner or whatever, and that means I have to clean my house. And
That's
it's
right.
my fallback if it's really bad. If not, I'll do that in my matter and as much as I need during the week. But for the most part, like if it's getting really bad, then I always have a festivity or an idea coming up where I have friends come in and that will help me clean the house. Right. It's your little tricks and tips that you can implement for yourself to
Absolutely.
get to that. Right.
And to your point, Natasha, it's the community, people that we can trust. Your friends that came over to help clean the house, I bet you they don't mind,
Yeah.
right? It's spending that time together,
Yeah.
right? That makes a huge difference. When we're willing to kind of let our guard down and be like, hey, you know what? I'm human too. There are things that I need help with. It's okay. Let's help each other out.
Yeah. I had a friend who always I said, come in, it's a mess. And he says, I come to see you, not the mess. So
Exactly.
a good point that people don't realize. Like, I don't care if your house is messy or not, because I can have the same mess at home. It might look nice when you come, but if you look deeper, there might be the drawers where stuff is just stuffed in. We are only human and we can only do so much. But again, if we don't start somewhere, and what I find too is it's not helping you to sit in victimhood or in that wallow in your inability to move forward, because the only one who can move forward is you. Nobody else can move you if you're not ready to, and I've done that 10 years. I've sat in a job where I was paid more than I have now, and it was never enough,
Mm.
and I was constantly stressed and worried, and in the end I ended up like every sentence I hate and I don't like and I don't want, not realizing that I had to change, nobody else. Right. And that's the only thing. If you choose your happiness, if you choose you, then things change.
Yes.
If you don't, then there's nothing anybody can do for you.
And that's absolutely right. Things happen for us for a reason, right? All of us. Some of us might be a little bit more open to sharing for whatever reason, and some of us may not.
Mhm.
But we all choose, right? We all choose. We don't see what other people are going through. People sometimes don't tell us, and that's okay. Respect it. But I don't assume everyone's having a good day or everyone's having a bad day.
Mhm.
But for those people that are smiling and moving on, I want to say it's a choice we all make,
Mhm. Yeah.
right?
And do I smile a lot? Does it mean that I'm always 100% happy and whatever? No. But I choose happiness. I choose to deal with the things that annoy me, that anger me, that frighten me in a different way. I don't let them pull me down. I don't wallow on them.
Exactly.
And then I'll fix it in what way I can, right? And I know that my financial situation right now, to 2 or 3 years before would have killed me.
Mm.
I would have been in a place where I would not have been able to function because it would depress me so much. These days, not actually a little bit longer back, but I come to the point that I realize that money comes in when I need it because I'm not fretting about it.
That's right.
Does that mean that I might have more shifts? Yes, I got more shifts driving. Does it mean that like it not always comes in the way that I wish for it because I'm not clear in how I ask for it, but it always comes, right?
Yeah.
And the biggest obstacle is me,
Yeah.
nobody else.
You're right. And a lot of times the doors are right in front of us. They're open. Whether we're willing to take that first step towards that door is up to us. Opportunity is there. Sometimes we're just blinded. We didn't
Mhm.
see it.
Don't see the door.
We
Even
don't
so
see the
it's
door.
wide open and right in front of us, and still we cannot see it. Yeah.
Yeah. Or sometimes we have our hand on the doorknob, closing it when it's open.
Yeah. Or pulling while it's supposed to be pushing and stuff like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right? Just even those little things. I always say, you know what? Don't worry about taking the big step. It's not about the big step. It will snowball. Once we start taking the smaller steps, the next step will come clear and it will get better. But it's taking that first step. Yes, sometimes it could be scary because we don't know, right? And that's when we have to educate ourselves, start thinking, what options do I have? Let's evaluate,
Mhm.
right? Same thing with, the being in the burnout. Step back. Let's all step back. There's so many fires to put out every single day, but I can't put out all the fires. I
Yeah.
have to stand back and figure out, hey, which one do I really need to address? Because some of them might just die down on its own. I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
I don't have to stress about it.
The other issue is that we don't trust others. So
Yeah.
even if you're like us, self-employed, you have your own company, then trusting others to do your work is a big one. And then also learning to let go if they don't do it exactly the way you
Yeah.
would do it, because nobody is like you and nobody is like that focused and narrow-minded in how they do work. It doesn't mean that it's done wrong. It's
Yeah.
mean it's done differently. And if there's really an issue, then you dial in and you work with it. But otherwise, just let it go and let people that are working for you work for you instead of micromanaging them. I
I
had to learn
love,
that too.
yeah, I love that. It's so true. I never want to be micromanaged, neither do I want to micromanage people. Because at the end of the day, I don't have all the bright ideas. So it's great to have someone else give a different perspective and be like, oh yeah, how come I never thought about that? Well, yeah, that's a great idea. Let's run with it or give it a try. Give it a try. It may or may not work. I don't know, but
It starts already with how you approach writing an email. For instance, you have your style in writing an email, and you're so used to, like, because it's ingrained in you and you learned your lesson and you do it your way. But that doesn't mean there's no other way.
that's right.
And you're already, and that's me, you're already overthinking when the other person sends the email out in a different style than you do, that the person on the other hand will blah blah blah. No.
Yeah.
If it's really misunderstood, well, then you fix it. But just let them go. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think to your point, it's the recovering people pleaser in me, right? If I'm trying to please everybody, it's not gonna work. I
No.
can't please everybody. Okay. So that's why I say I'm recovering. I don't need to please everybody. I just need to be myself. The people that want to work with me will work with me. The people that don't want to work with me for whatever reason, it's okay. It's okay.
That's the most important part, is not you're not there for everybody and not everybody is there for you.
Yeah. And someone just wrote in our LinkedIn posting party this week, we don't need a big, big, big community. We just need a small community, a supportive one who will show up when I need them the most. People will clap when we're celebrating for the most part, unless they're jealous of us, they're envious of us. That's a different story. But typically, not a lot of people will show up when we need help.
Mhm.
And those are the people, those are the community, those are the inner circle that I need, that you need to lift us up and just know when to come and be like, hey, nudge, nudge, Janet, Natasha, is everything okay? Haven't heard from you for a while. Those are the people that we need in our lives.
Absolutely. No, it's like I know how much I shut myself down when I was in burnout because I couldn't deal with anybody.
Yeah.
Probably wouldn't have been stuck so long in burnout if there would have been people who had seen me the
Yeah.
way that I needed. But I don't think the time was right for that either. So I'm not really regretting the things that I've learned because I wouldn't be the person that I am today
Mm,
without my experiences, right? And that's another part. I cannot wallow in the past and I cannot fret about the future. I have to live in the here and now, and I have to make the best decisions that will provide a better future.
mhm.
But that doesn't mean I live in the future,
No.
right?
So it's interesting you say that. Number one, we don't dwell in the past, right? I agree. We learn from the lessons, so we try not to repeat those, right? Try, right? We hopefully we learn from them. But at the same time, as much as we live in the present, we also have to plan ahead. Not to be too worried about it, not too stressed about it, but definitely plan ahead,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Because
and that's
that's also important.
but that's what I mean. It's like when I live constantly in the idea that, oh, I wish I had in the future, it's not happening.
Yeah.
While if I start and say I plan for my future, I'll try to build up whatever I can and be flexible enough about it to be not stuck on something that's not achievable, but open for opportunities that come along and say, oh, this might be the better way to go. And then I divert and I take a detour and then I come back to my original plan.
Mhm.
But for one thing, a lot of people don't even know what their plan is. They don't have a goal. They cannot visualize what their goal is like. And I always use the example of losing weight. And we had people like we did goal setting workshops. Because working intentionally with the healing is one of the parts that I do. And part of that is knowing your goal. So if you start setting your goal where you want to go, your whole energetically balance will be different because you're aiming towards that goal. So then they come, oh, I want to lose weight. And then you start asking the question, what does it look like when you lose weight? Oh, my clothes will fit better.
Mhm.
What else? Yeah. And they go on and they wander around and they would circle around and whatever. In the end, it comes out they want to be more social. So the goal is not to be losing weight,
Mm.
be more social, which doesn't mean you have to lose weight. It's nice in the long run to do that,
Yeah.
but you don't need to be less in person, which is funny to say it this way. You don't have to be less in person
Yeah.
to be social.
Yeah. Isn't that interesting? That's why someone was sharing with me, don't take the first answer as the real answer. Keep asking yourself 7 times why.
Mhm.
Then we will come to the root cause of what we're thinking or doing.
It
But you,
depends on it depends on what you're asking for. Like when I do a balance, an energetic balance with somebody, the first thing that comes to mind is usually the solution.
mm,
But it's not the goal, it's the solution. So again, what are you asking for? A goal, I want to be as detailed as possible. So I want to question and I want to see and I want to evolve and I want to make it a big picture. And the best thing for a goal that you can do is make it as much involved in your five senses as you can. So if my
mm,
goal is to be financially stable in 5 years, how does that feel? How does that look? How does that taste?
mm,
How does that smell? How does that sound? Because all of those will incorporate it in the physical and not just in your mental state. And your physical, if you can incorporate it in your physical, you're almost there.
I love that. Thanks for sharing. I'll be asking that next time.
Yeah, no, because it's really different. If you
It
have
is.
if you have a 1D picture
Yeah.
or a
Yeah.
holographic picture, it's different because you're already immersed in what you want to achieve,
That's right.
right?
That's very powerful. You're absolutely right.
And we use that in the energy healing and in touch for not touch for health so much, but yeah, bioenergetic vibrational tuning. In mine, I use that, and in bioenergetic wellness. But if you translate that into business,
Mm,
how do we set our goals? Or it's a number. Yeah, but what does that number mean really?
yeah. No,
A
it's
number
true.
on the paper. How is your being able to translate that into it? And if you are energetic aligned with your goal, it's become effortless to get there because you're
Yeah.
already set on pace, you're already drawn to it, the energy manifests it, right?
And it builds a stronger solution, stronger, you're more
Foundation.
committed to it. You're
Yeah,
more committed to it, definitely.
yeah.
Yeah.
The same
Wow.
thing is if you approach something that you want to achieve with gratitude. So I'm grateful that I will be financially stable in 2026. If I approach it with gratitude, your brain thinks you're already there.
Yeah, that's
While
right.
I go, I'm trying to hear the language. I'm trying to, I will be, I might, no, I'm grateful for being financially stable in 2026.
I love that because you already believe in it. And then guess what? Your mind's already there. You will get there. You'll find ways. Your brain will
Yeah,
find ways to get there.
you see the opportunities because you're tuned into the bigger picture. You're not just on that financially stable. No, you see all opportunities that
You
come up.
beyond.
Yeah, yeah. But
Amazing. Well, thank you, Natasha. I learned something.
it's I do that for most of my things. Um, when I'm balanced. I gotta admit, when I'm really stressed out, I forget my stuff too. But when you start doing the work and you start applying that, it slips into everything you do in your everyday life,
Yeah, it's
not
true.
just financial, not just job, not just family too, right?
Yeah,
And being aware of your five senses and seeing everything with your five seeing. Receiving everything with your five senses and being aware of your emotional state at the time when something happens, then all of a sudden you have a bigger picture and you start responding instead of reacting.
hmm Yes.
Mhm.
And it's so important because our life isn't compartmentalized.
No,
We have to integrate it, right?
it's a hologram. Everything is a hologram.
Yeah.
If you visualize it or if you live it, it's multidimensional. It's not just one straight line. It's not just a 90 degrees, so two dimensions. No, it's multidimensional. And
That's right. And the same with finance, right? It's not just one thing.
yeah,
Finance impacts our health. Health impacts our finance. There's everything else is all tied together. They're
yeah,
all linked.
yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. So give us a tip that you do when you're stressed. What do you do to calm down or to balance yourself?
Breathing, as simple as it sounds, just stop and breathe. Yeah. And really slow down and have those steady breathing before I come back.
Mhm.
It might take a few seconds, sometimes it might take a few more minutes, but it's that breathing that just grounds me.
Yeah. And I would add to that, step away from whatever is upsetting you.
Oh, yes.
Look at something else.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I've been doing I have two apps that I use right now for me to just keep on track because not getting lost and seeing the bigger picture. Um and one of my goals is daily to find one thing that makes me happy.
Hmm.
And I realized I combine that with two things. So another thing that I have to do is go for a daily walk outside in nature or
Yes.
spend time outside. Um, dog outside playing ball. I had shits and giggles all the time because he's so, and no matter the weather, I have to get out. Sometimes if I'm really, really, really don't want to go out, I open the door and throw the balls outside the door. But the thing is, he makes me giggle so much. Right? And then just realizing that this is part of where I find my happiness and find my out for a second. It's interesting. It's really interesting when you bring things in your life that in the first moment bring chaos. Because that's what happened. And sometimes bring more stress in a way of I have to clean more. I have to make sure that I'm home in time. I have to make sure that I have a dog sitter when I'm away and so on. But then on the other hand, the joy that he brings into my time in life and also the companionship and the cuddles and so on.
Yeah.
Time-wise, it's less the cuddles and the smiles. The work stuff is more with him. But everything, like every little smile with him, weighs out everything else so much more.
I love how you say you choose happiness and you choose to find something that will make you smile every single day, right? Starting the day with gratitude is definitely one thing, but also finding that first thing in the morning does set you up for happiness for the rest of the day. It does.
How often do you smile at yourself in the mirror?
Oh, that's a great question. Not a lot. Honestly,
Well, I mean, we as women, we look more because of the makeup. But honestly, how much do you really pay attention to yourself in the mirror?
not a lot. Most of us don't.
Okay, here's an exercise for you.
I homework.
Well, try it. Every morning, look in the mirror, smile at yourself, and say, I love you.
Okay.
And see what changes, because that's a simple exercise that can change quite a lot about yourself because you're seeing yourself. And who else than you can see
Right.
you first, right?
Yeah.
That's And how often don't we see each other? No, not each other, us. How often don't we see us ourselves as a person or a being, other than when we run the Zoom meeting and you have the camera and all of a sudden you're focused on the camera and you look at yourself instead of the other
I know,
person.
right? It's true. It's
Yeah,
true. This is when I focus on myself. If even then, like some of us don't even have our face. It only has the other person's face. So we're focused on them.
yeah. I tried that. I cannot. But I'm getting better in not looking at myself and looking at the other person. That's why my eyes are a little bit off. Even so, I have the camera setting so it's above both of us. And I shrink the screen so I don't have big screen, like big windows open.
Yeah.
So it's more visualized to you, but I'm looking actually at you and not at me.
Yeah. Agree. Me too. I shift it so that I'm focusing on the person I'm talking to.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's a good thing to hide yourself once in a while in Zoom meetings because then you're not checking yourself the whole time. Well, thank you so much. And I am gonna have all of your information, social media, LinkedIn, and so on, underneath the video in the description. And if people want to reach out, thank you for the offer of the 15-minute free consultation if somebody needs help. I hope that doesn't backfire and overwhelms you totally. But I know that there will be probably quite a few people who have questions, and I know you are one of the most genuine, caring people in the world that I can recommend somebody to talk to because you care with the heart, and it's not about the sales, and that's the important part, that there's somebody who's really caring.
Yeah. Because you know what? There's more than enough for all of us.
Yeah.
There's more than enough for all of us. And I thank you, for being in this space to help people get out or at least be aware that they're in this downward spiral, right? Awareness is number one. So
Yeah.
then we can get the help we need to get out of that, right? Burnout is real. I've been there. It's not fun. I don't wish it on anybody. back then I didn't have help from people like you, right? So thank you for standing in this space. Very much needed, especially after COVID, when people are more willing to share and to speak up on this. So thank you for being a blessing to me, but definitely being a blessing to our community. Thank you, Natasha.
Thoughts are racing, spinning fast. Ideas flow but never last. Waves of wonder, thoughts untamed.